Okay, let's make a Smite video, shall we? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, what have you done, Iris? Oh. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. No, Iris, what have you done? Oh. Hello and welcome to another Smite video. Hope you enjoyed the intro. So today we're going to be talking about 3.18 as well as 3.19. So first of all we're going to be covering 3.18 very briefly. But first let's just go over the elephant in the room, which is the fact that the menus currently are extremely delayed. As of right now I see no reason to use reinforced greaves on pretty much any physical god in the game. Unless you are doing this support role, even then it doesn't exactly feel like it's worth doing, because the health you get as well as the physical protections and magical protections is pretty mediocre. For magical characters with short cooldowns, I can see it sort of being useful late game, but then again, why would you not pick up Shooter Focus, which gives you CDR as well as more mana? But I digress. Anyway, that's all we have to say for 3.18. There's not been that many changes to the entire game which change it that much, so there is that. So let's go on to one of the biggest changes which is upcoming in 3.19, which is to Susanoo. As of right now, Susanoo works like this. Very simple. He has a dash, he has a ability that's in a cone, as well as having another ability that's sort of a circle. This means that Susanoo's main damaging abilities is only on 2 out of his 3 when it comes to his attack. What's being changed is pretty simple. This is going to do reduced damage, this is going to do reduced damage, and then this is going to do damage as well. Originally, Susanoo never used to do damage on his dash, so they're bringing it back, but they're reducing the damage overall, so making it so you have to commit when it comes to Storm Katata, or his 1. What Susanoo players used to do, in fact they probably will still do, is pull and then go straight into someone while they're running away, and then probably use the tornado to run away. This is, in my opinion, going to make Susanoo much more a decision-based character. It's not going to cripple him, it's not going to destroy him, it's not going to nerf him into the ground, it's just going to make it so you have to think when using him, which in my opinion is a good change. They're also doing another change to Susanoo. When it comes to his ultimate, currently right now, you just do something like this. You can immediately knock someone up, and then you can immediately just follow up with a bunch of damage. This is incredibly annoying, because Susanoo's ult, you're meant to charge it as it pulls people in. But unfortunately, due to the fact that it has a knockup, there's no real reason to charge it at all. Which is what most players will do, is they will just cancel it to get the knockup as well as confirm the damage quickly. So they're changing that so you have to actually charge it to get the knockup now, instead of just use it and get the free CC. Which is nice, and if I'm honest with you, a very good change. So there is that. I feel this is going to make Susanoo a much harder character to play, which is a good thing, as well as making it so that you have to make certain decisions. Currently at the moment, Susanoo is a character which you don't make that many decisions. He has very easy to confirm damage and has a lot of mobility. So congratulations, Hyros, you've managed to put Susanoo in a much better spot, in my opinion. And at the same time as well, you've made it so that he's a character you can actually play against, because you can work out when he's used all his abilities, when he has his dash down, etc. So there is that. You also as well know when he's going to commit, because if he turns around it's likely he's not going to commit on you. So there is that. So thank you, Hi-Res. You finally managed to make Susanoo less annoying. Anyway, moving on to Cecilia, I guess, or the other god that's being buffed that I don't necessarily agree with, as well as Chuck. First of all, we're going to be covering Chuck. Were you expecting some Chuck gameplay? Well, apologies. Unfortunately, due to the menus being so messed up currently, I don't want to load into tutorial more times than I have to, so there is that. Anyway, let's look at Chuck. One of the changes they're going to be doing is going to be to Stormcall. This is probably the biggest and most controversial change in my opinion, as well as the change that makes no sense. So at the moment, if Chuck has his axe out and he has Stormcall, he will supercharge it and he will do additional damage, as well as having a knockup. Unfortunately, when you look at the damage he does additionally, it is less than the damage they are currently going to be adding to his ultimate. Currently at the moment, I believe they're going to be adding 50 damage to his base ultimate, as well as increasing his scaling to 120. So basically you're going to get 120 scaling, as well as 100 less physical power on his ultimate in the final form. But you're going to get more scaling, so you're probably going to have just as much damage. But this doesn't take into account the fact that Chuck does fall off late game, and against people you're going to be playing against, they're probably going to have some sort of protection, so the damage is going to be even less. So what they've basically done is they've taken the knock-up, the only hard CC Chuck has in his late game, and they've removed it. So they basically made it easier, so they've taken the decision away from Chuck, which is a bit weird, and they've also nerfed him. I honestly feel it's a nerfed Chuck, and they should probably revert it. If they did want to choose something where you had to make more decisions, it was easier. Make it so that if you had, I don't know, your axe out, you had range dance tolerant or something, and then you Storm Called, you did more damage, especially if you fully committed, or you did something so each of those abilities change how Chuck's ultimate works. One of them has a slow, one of them has a stun. Do something like that. But unfortunately what they've done is they basically dumbed down Chuck, gave him a little bit of extra damage, and then hope for the best. I don't agree with that change, I'll be honest with you. I wish they would not have done that at all. Early game, the extra damage is nice, and I think the extra damage early game on his ultimate is good, but I think the rest of the changes is stupid, and they don't know what they're doing. So there's that. Okay, let's move on to the next god, Cecilia. Okay, now let's talk about the little girl. So, Cecilia, or Scylla, whatever you want to call her. So, what Hi-Rez have done in the latest patch is they basically buffed the Crush. They gave it more damage, as well as giving it more scaling late game. It's now got 100% scaling instead of 80, which means it's going to be hitting for a lot of damage, especially if you have 600 plus magical power. It's going to hit for almost 1,200, which is disgusting and insane. That's pretty much the same scaling and power as her ult, which is, well, disgusting and insane, and that's on her ability. So if you use Sikkim into Crush, you're pretty much going to two-shot people, which is just nuts. The key problem Scylla has is a very bad early game, and yes, she wasn't getting to the getting through the early game to the late game where she completely shines. I feel what Hi-Rez should have done when it came to this was they should have actually looked at why this was the case, and the answer to that is very, very simple. The fact that Scylla has very, very long cooldowns, very difficult to hit skill shots, very high damage, compared to a lot of other mages that have a lot easier to hit abilities, the same sort of damage range, or slightly less, as well as having just as much mobility and being easier and having better early games. I feel what Hi-Rez should have done is they should have said we have Scylla under review, we are looking at the other mages, and we're going to probably make adjustments to the entire mage class. This is what Hi-Rez should have done, instead of just mindlessly buffing Scylla. And I honestly feel what Hi-Rez needs to do is they need to go back to the drawing board with pretty much most of their gods, and they need to be this god fits into this archetype, this god fits into this archetype, and this god does this scaling, this god does this damage at this level of the game. And make it so that you have to make certain choices with certain gods at certain points of the game. As of right now, pretty much you want to be picking the jack of all trades that's slightly above average, as opposed to picking someone that's slightly higher than average, but they have an inherent weakness over everyone else that has a less of a weakness in that area. Scylla is a great example of this. That's my honest opinion. I think the buff is needed, but I feel that they've gone the wrong way about it, and I feel they should have probably looked at the other mages that were too strong, as opposed to looking at Scylla and making her, well, too strong, and, well, stupidly powerful for no real reason, when you should be looking at the other mages. But that's my honest opinion. There you go. I could be wrong, if I'm honest with you, but I think I might be on the right line of track. Sikkim, for example, has a very slow travel time and is very difficult to hit, and Crashwell is a big area, but slightly difficult to hit because you don't want to be standing in there. On console, at least, it's very difficult to hit any of any of her abilities, especially I'm a monster. This may have a large area, but people move and try and dodge it very efficiently, so there is that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. That's my thoughts and feelings on the next patch that is coming to PlayStation. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't, then tell me what I can do to improve. Toodles!